Hey, it's Zeph. Welcome. How you doing? Today I'm gonna show you something a little weird, a little wacky, even. A new class. Yep, a new class for DnD 5e. Incorporating a few features from that new one whack thing. Any case, this is the name of it. Right, you might be saying, by the way, don't worry about this crap. All this crap right here, don't worry about it. This right here, let me explain this name. Now you might be asking me, why didn't I go with like Elementalist? Or something that really rolls off the tongue? Well, to me, I feel like it doesn't fit the same kind of wording that other classes have, like Monk, Artificer. What else is there? Fighter. It kind of hits you. Fighter, you know? Elementist. There you go. Let's scroll down. Real quick, I'll explain a little bit what this class really is while you look at this stuff, and I'll explain what this crap means right here. I'll explain it. But first, basically, this class is, that one show, Avatar the Airbender crap. You know, that's basically what this class is. And you might be saying, well, dang, there's already a ton of different classes that, kind of can be put into the airbender type of thing. The tropes and stuff, and the abilities. Well, this is my little shot at making my own type that goes based off of the same D&D rule set, but is completely different. So let me quickly get something straight. First level to 20th. Your proficiency bonus, martial elements, this crap, which is called elemental key, right here. I'll let you look at that. And then you got your element reach and your affinity points alongside your features. So first off, what the heck is martial elements? Well, basically, it's down here. First, let's talk about the big stuff though. Elemental key points. Now, you might be saying, whoa. Isn't that just monk? Like what? Yes. At least the point system is monk-like, okay? It's not just a straight up, oh, here's monk with like a few extra features. No, this is completely different. While using a point system that's similar to monks, okay? Elemental key, elemental power, basically. What is element reach? Well, basically, think about it like this: whenever you're using your elemental key features down here. Right, basically, whenever you're using them, you can't use them unless you're within your elements, within reach of your element. And I'll go over that a little more in a moment. For now, just understand that. Now, affinity points. What in the world is that? What's these two different point systems? Well, let's see. You see, what this is basically your subclass, right? So, elemental affinity allows you to go into different elements. It's basically, what I'm saying here, is you could go into up to 6 different subclasses in one class. Now that sounds absolutely absurd, I know, but trust me, it's still using the same type of stuff that D&D uses. It's just a little bit more self-balancing. Okay, so basically, at first level, you gain your affinity point. Then you can choose an element of choice and put that point in. For instance, put it in element of air. I'll go over this crap once we get to it. Put it into fire, right? And then basically, depending on how many points you put into one of these elements, you gain more abilities, more damage with that element. See? At level 1 affinity with an element, you get D4 damage, 2 D8, so on, so forth. Okay? Now, martial elements, okay? Let's first move on to the creating this dude, okay? So you have this, dexterity, and charisma. It's pretty simple. Features. I'll let you read this. Listen, I'm not your mother. I'm not gonna sit here and read to you some type of bedtime story, okay? But I am gonna let you read, okay? There you go, D8 is your hit dice. You got your proficiencies. And you might say, well, dang, this is just like opposite of monk. Instead of simple weapons, you get martial weapons and a quarterstaff. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of having a class that is mostly martial, while still doing the monk stuff, kinda. Actually, I'll go over that in a moment. Here's your starting equipment. As you see here, a vial or flask of your element of choice. What that means is, like I said, you're going to need to be within reach of your element, okay? If you want to use any of these features with elemental key, right? So all features require a source of your element within your element reach. Whether that's a campfire with fire affinity, or like a flask of water. So I allow you to start off with like some embers in a vial, or some water, or even some pebbles of grain somehow, if you're not even near any type of like stonework or anything. And then you have your unarmored defense, okay? Now, you might be saying, well dang, this is a whack job crap. AC equals your dex plus your charisma? What is this man defending himself, words? No, of course not. Listen, think about it like this. Sorcerer uses his charisma as his like spell casting focus. So take it into perspective what it would be like to use that type of like casting, but instead of it being thrown through, you know, some spells, it's thrown through your element, your key, your elemental key. You use that and you have your defense. And then as you can see here, you have like a little aura that protects you, and you can like say that, oh, it's like a little bit of flames that circle around you if you have fire affinity. So wacky stuff. And then there's the elemental affinity. I'll let you read this. Again, I'm not your mother. I'll let you do it yourself. And then there's the elemental key, right? E-key, as some people might say. Just a little abbreviation to make sure these craps doesn't like, this dang table doesn't actually explode from the amount of words. But you got this, and then you got your save DC and your attack modifier. Okay? Pretty simple, it's not that hard to understand. Now, general element affinity, basically this means that you get these features at this level affinity with an element, right? This is the general stuff. This is like for the main actual class. You just get these for everything. Everything you have 4 levels in, you get this stuff. And that is detailed here. I'll let you read this. Something I will say, though, is that basically, you know that one spell prestidigitation, crap like that? Basically, with this alongside this altering ability, you can like kind of do that with whatever element you have. You have fire affinity. Well, you can do some instantaneous like effects like prestidigitation, or you do some sparks around your face, or do some whack stuff, cause a little bit of smoke, snuff out a candle, things like that. You know, pretty simple. Altering. So this thing allows you to change different damage types with your stuff, or even change like certain things, like the temperature, or the size, or even the shape of it. Okay. Now it also says you gain more stuff somewhere later down, which is right here. So if you go down to wind, you gain the ability to alter the color of like a gas cloud, or the opacity of it. So if like someone uses a fog spell, hey, listen, I like within a certain reach within around you, you can just be like, oh, boom. Of course, though, that costs a point. So it's like, you know, it's balancing. Trying to do some bit of balancing here and there. I'll let you read more of it if you want. And then there's this. This is a big one. This is a big one for the whole class. This is element transit. Basically, this as your movement abilities with your dang thing. No, not this crap. Wait, where is it? I forgot where it was. Oh yeah, not this crap. This is completely different. This allows you to move elements. Element transit is how you're able to like ride or use elements to actually move faster. That's what this is. Now each element has their own different type of speed and like the type of transit. For instance, fire, as you can read right here, grants you the ability to like hover around with fire, and then anything you go over, well, it's set ablaze. So it's kind of dangerous. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Back up to this though, right? You have your transit ability. Then you have element blast. Everyone gets this, okay? You get 3 points of affinity into like air. Oh, you can blast people in there. Fire blast. Water blast. Wave blast. What else is there? Earth and blast. Pretty simple. And you can read what this does. Maybe that's too powerful. Maybe I should change it. I don't know though. Element absorption. This is kind of a big one. You put 4 points into it, and then you could just absorb someone's attack. That's within your element. So if someone uses a fireball and it hits you directly or nearby you, you can absorb it, healing you for half the total damage. Now you might say, dang, that's pretty powerful. Listen, 4 points of affinity is quite a lot. Let's see, what level do you gain 4 points of affinity? Level 10, that seems pretty big time, okay? I feel like that's able to balance itself out just enough. Maybe I might put that to 5. Oh, I bet you love this voice that I'm doing. Continuing on. Element Strike, right? You get to your 2nd level, and then you have... Oh, wait, actually, let me quickly tell you something, okay? So you look up here, you see it's only 4 things for general. But remember, each element has its own special stuff. And just like the subclass would have, a subclass only has 4 different, new abilities that you gain. So you have your Transit and your Blast from the general stuff. But then you also have Burning Fury for fire, Branding Strike at level 4, White Fireball at level 5, and then Power Word Kill with just a worse Power Word Kill, basically. I'll go over that, though, later. First off, let's get to Element Strike. Okay, level 2, you gain this for every element. You gain basically that whole thing of flurry of blows, but instead of it being 2, it's only 1, and you can use your weapon with it, imbuing it with your element damage. Okay? I feel like that is pretty big, especially at level 2, but remember, you're only getting as much element damage you have, which means you basically strike again, and then you do, what is it? Let's see. A level 1, which means you get a D4 damage. Yeah, level 1. Because you're going to be a level 1 affinity with any of these elements at level 2. And you only get your your 2nd affinity point at level 4. Which I think balances that out just enough. Alright, let's continue on. So you have that. Then you have martial elements. This is a big one. Basically, you do an extra D4 damage on top of any unarmed strike or element wimpus weapon. It's hard to speak, I must say. Elementist weapon, right? And this could be your main damage or your secondary damage of that element. You might be saying, what the world does that mean? We'll get to it later, okay? Elements have a main damage and a secondary damage. I think I may have already went over this, but you know what? Let's just do it now. When you choose your element, okay, you can choose multiple. Like I said, you can go into multiple elements. You don't have to just stick to one. So you could, if you wanted to, you can go to air and you could do the fire. A multi-subclassing class. See that? That's wacky. That's weird. But listen, I made it pretty simple. So let's see. For fire, you get your fire damage. All right. So you do 1d4 at level 1. Okay, 1d4 fire damage, or you do 1d4 fire damage, and whatever number you get, unless it's 1, you do half damage. You roll a 2, you do 1 damage of thunder. You can choose it because you can have the ability to alter the different damages. Okay, for your abilities. Continuing on, let's go. Come on. 3rd level, you do that. You can read all this crap. Again, I'm not reading it. You can read it yourself. 4th level, you gain your feature, your ability score feat, or a feature of your choice. Then you get you another affinity point to put your element subclass. Martial elements upgrade. And then the coup de grace, level 5. You get your big boy, right? Elemental creation. Yes, you heard me right. Elemental creation. You can create your own elemental. Doesn't that sound pretty cool? I bet it does. Or maybe you might be saying that's pretty powerful. Well, I have a way of balancing that, kind of. You can read this crap, but just something to understand is that you can change what it looks like. Depending on if you like what it looks like, you can be like, this fire elemental has a more feminine figure. Or this earth elemental has 3 legs. You could do whatever you want with it. That's level 5. Level 6, it's kind of a big one. A spell manipulation, but it's only a minor thing at level 6, okay? You can only change it to do extra damage or less damage. You can, someone casts a fireball right next to you with a fire affinity, right? Then you can basically be like, okay, In that case, because that's my ally's fireball, I'm going to add my element damage to it. Level 6, what's my element damage at level 6? Let's see. Level 6, I have 2 points of affinity, which means at max I could have an extra d8 of damage to that fireball. 1d8 extra fireball damage. Okay? You understand that? That seems pretty simple. That seems pretty cool to me. And then later on, once you reach 9th level, you can just straight up have it. If you have it on contact, depending on the spell level, you can just split the damage between them, you know? And then finally, as a 14th level ability, you can redirect the whole thing. I think that's pretty cool. I probably should go into more detail of exactly how you do that in this description, but I think you can understand what I mean here. And then there's the 7th level one, which is a pretty big one. Basically, you can combine different element damages. So, like, let's say 7th level, you gain, what is it? I'm pretty sure you get an extra affinity point at 7th level. Yeah, you do. Alright, so at this point, you'll have 3 points into 1 damage type, right? Or, you'll have 2 points of affinity into 1 damage type, and then you'll have a d4, which means a minimum of 1d12, basically. So what this means, this coalescence crap, is basically you shoot your fireball, right? Oh, you don't shoot your fireball. You use one of your elemental abilities and your elementist key features. You can then add on another thing of damage from your secondary element you have. So let's say you have the 2 levels in the fire affinity, right? You can do your 1d8 of fire damage, and then you can just add on your thunder damage from air. If you have 1 point in air and 2 points in fire, you see what I mean? It seems to be pretty simple. You can read, okay? You know, the affinity point feature, and then Minecraft, okay? Minecraft. And I tried to balance it out the best I could. It's not super busted. You can't just take out a wall or something. But you can do stuff like make a little tunnel, like make an air bubble in underwater, or like, you know, do some cool crap. Set a whole place ablaze, you know? You can do that. It's going to cost a lot of points, obviously, as you can see. But you could do it. And then most of the stuff is extra filler. But hold on! 11th level extra attack? What is this dude talking about, you know? Why you put it at 11th level and not early on? Well, that's a balancing feature. If I would have put it at level 5, like most people, okay? Fighter gets theirs at level 5. Monk gets theirs at level 5 too, I think. Okay? It would just, I feel like it's just a whole bunch of crap. That's why I put elemental creation there instead. Because that basically is some extra attack for you. But the elemental is not as powerful at lower levels, of course. I'll go over the stat blocks for them in a little bit. But for now, we'll continue on though. Again, extra attack. Now you might be saying, well, again, why though? Why did you put your extra attack at level 11? Well, you see, when you look at a fighter, and when it gets its attacks, or if you look at, I think, a paladin, or what other, like a classes that get an extra attack, sometimes they get another extra attack at level 11. So in order to make that a bit balanced, I gave the ability to get an extra attack at level 11. That's just my common sense. You can complain, you can look at it, and listen, this is my concept, my own concept, right? With my own type of multi-subclassing type of concept as well, okay? You don't have to follow this. You can change this crap around and do your own thing. But to me, this is my Elementist class. Okay? 11th level. E-key siphoning. Elemental key siphoning. What does that mean? Well, you can sacrifice some health to get some points. Now you might be saying, well dang, that's pretty powerful. But again, you gotta sacrifice some health, okay? That's my, like, kind of balancing. And at level 11, if you think about your health for this Elementist, you get a D8, right? D8 per level, plus your Constitution modifier. But let's say you get absolute crap stats. So you get, what is it, like 95, 96, something like that? Like, that's some really bad dang stuff. We'll say, for the sake of this, you got 100 health. A D12, like, again, that's pretty bad. If you get 12s the whole time, that's horrible. Again, though, if you get 1s, it's like, oh, dang. That's pretty good. You're getting some pretty good stuff from that. In fact, let's make this even worse for someone. Proficiency bonus. Yeah. Get that plus your proficiency bonus, which means a minimum at level 11. You'd have to take, what is it? Level 11, a 5. 5 damage minimum. I feel like that's a pretty good balancing feature right there. Alright, continuing on. 12th level. All this crap is filler, basically. And then you get the big one, the coup de grace. Okay? You get your big boy. Now you might be saying, again, talking about this stuff in the past. What's with all this filler? Well, remember, most of your features come from your element of choice. Or your elements of choice. Okay? More points you put in one element, the more damage you do. And the more features you unlock with that element. Okay? It just makes sense to me. So you might be saying, okay, well then that's fine. Or you might be saying, that's absolutely crap. Why'd you do that? Listen, you want to balance it differently? You could do that. 20th level, manifestation of elements. This is the big boy. You know that thing, that scene in Airbender, that one show, where they're at the water place, I think, and Aang goes absolutely whack crap job, and just becomes this massive form, right, of water and stuff, and he's just able to float inside it while controlling this massive thing. That's basically what this is. Now, if you want to change this to be the size large, do that. If you want to do it huge, do that. You want to go gargantuan and absolutely blast people, do it. Listen, it's D&D. You think that level 20 characters should become gargantuan at choice? Then do it. It's up to you. You get all these abilities. You get all this stuff. You can read it. I'm not going to read it. I'm getting a little tired of this voice I got. Let's move on to the elements now. Element of flames. Fire. Fire is your main damage. Thunder, secondary. Why? Because look, think about it. You can bust flames, you make a bit of a shockwave. You see, it's kind of like explosions, you know? You can use that. Boom. Thunder. And then these alter properties. Listen, if you want to use your alter ability to change the color of the flames or the brightness of them, listen, you could do that. Now you might be saying, whoa, Burning Fury, that looks a lot like Rage. And you'd be right. It kind of is like Rage, but instead of it being, a minute long, it only lasts for 3 rounds. Okay, 3 rounds. And then it has some stuff that's pretty easy to do to absolutely negate it. Or completely make it to where, you kind of, do some crap. And to me, I feel like this is kind of a more, like a balancing feature for this whole Burning Fury thing. Alright, anyway, you look at that, propelling flames, you do that, flame blast, and then branding strike. You can look at that. Then you have your charging fireball, right? You can do that. Absolutely whack stuff, doing tons of damage, I know. Every element has its own specialty. And I feel like fire is, the most aggressive of them all. Right? The most furious. Burning Fury. I know it's a whole pun and stuff. And then at final level, 6 points in, your final affinity point, you get power word kill with some, what's it called? Nerfs, Now you might be saying, well, dang, just having that ability. Well, let me again remind you. If you put 6 points into an affinity, that would mean you would have to be level 17. And level 17, I'm pretty sure, is when people, wizards and stuff, they have power word kill. So to me, I feel like it's pretty balanced. Now, that's me. That's my take. Right? You can do that. And then you have, the stuff. If they're immune to fire, it doesn't work on them. They have resistance and they have more than 50 HP, then doesn't work on them. That's my 2 cents. And then you got your fury damage. Now the elemental, right? Each elemental is different. Everyone specializes in something similar, right? But yes, you're looking at this, and then you're like, well, dang, how do you balance it? Okay? Each elemental is different. Each lesser elemental is different. And you might be saying, well, dang, fire affinity and your charisma modifier plus your PB, that seems like a lot. And that is probably true. That's why I tried to balance it by decreasing or increasing the number. So, if the more affinity you have in fire, the more armor class it has. And health. You see? the more you get rewarded for putting more points into an element. You see, that's what I'm trying to do here. Reward you for doing what you do. You can look at this, and you can probably complain about the stuff in the stats. Okay? Some of this stuff probably has typos somewhere. Air, right? You get some cool abilities with, like, sneaking around. Get the ability to fly, but with cloth, you know? You can use hover, obviously. You can hover around with your movement. But also, if you have, like, a large cloth, you can fly. Okay? Like Aang, you know? I think you understand what I'm talking about. You got Air Blast. Then you got Restraining Gales, Deadly Tempest. You can read it. I'm not going to read it. I'm not your mother. Sundering Winds. Basically, you push a dude super far away, and they, like, explode against the wall. Okay? Alright. And then you can look at this stuff. You can read it. Air Element. Again, let me talk about that, actually, real quick. Like I said, each one of these kind of specializes in their own thing. Oh, that's another thing. I'll talk about the damage here in a second for air. First, basically fire. It's more your most aggressive fire, your subclass. Air, I feel like this is your most mischievous class. Earth, I think this is your most tanky class, obviously. And then finally, you have your element of waves, which is, I feel like, the most damaging possible class. I think, at least, to me. Back up to air, you go up here and you see this. Now you might be saying thunder damage. Why does air do thunder damage and not, like, bludgeoning? Well, here's my consensus, my 2 cents, you know? Think about it like this. You can use air and fling it around you really rapidly, basically doing, you know, shockwaves and stuff. That's what I feel like thunder damage is. And I feel like that is what it is. You do shockwave, you do thunder step, you make a big explosion, and then the sound wave hurts people. So air's main damage is thunder. That's to me, though. And then you do bludgeoning as a secondary. You're gonna read that. You're gonna read this. And then you got your elemental, right? You can look at this. I'll do that. You see, it gets slightly more armor class because it's just air. This is a mischievous dude. Okay? And now you have your element of earth. This is a big one. Fissure Stone. Blocking boulders. Raining stones. Crush. You know, you can burrow, climb with this element. And then you got your lesser earth element. Yes, that's right. He's large, but he's slow. In fact, I might make this 10. No, I'm gonna keep it like it is. 15. Really slow elemental. And you get all this stuff. Okay? It just, to me, makes sense. You do this. It's tanky. You can block damage with him. He's pretty big. Finally, you have the element of waves. Water. This is a pretty big one. Right? This is your most damaging one that I would think. And you might be saying, well, dang. Why is cold damage not the main damage type? Well, that's because I'm thinking of working on three different more subclasses. You would have the element of metal, element of ice, and then element of ichor, which is like blood and stuff. Those are my 3 other ones. And yes, before you say anything, yes, water very much has the stuff that's like that one lady from Avatar the Airbender. Forget her name. I think it starts with a K or something. I haven't watched that show in a while. But yes, tentacles, tendrils and stuff. You can use them. Do that. What's your dang water elemental look like? Well, look at this. Medium. Do all that stuff. Do this. Hold up. Just realized. That makes more sense. Do this. Do that. Water form. Freeze. And then you get water tentacles. And a ranged attack. And flowing strikes. Right. And that's basically my class. I hope you've been reading. If you haven't been reading, I'm very sorry. But you only get one chance, you know. Anyway. I hope you like it. Hope you like this whole thing. Hope you've really enjoyed this voice that I've been doing this entire time. I haven't. But that's my class. Hope you like it. feel free to put it in your campaigns, do whatever you want with it. Or maybe, if you want, I can put it in my own little campaign. I can, like, record it or something if you want, guys. So it's up to you. You can see it in action or something, you know. Again, some of this stuff probably isn't balanced. I have to go through it again and again and again. Or, hey, listen, if you have any ideas, put them in the comments below. Tell me what I've done wrong here, right? Like, for instance, look at the dang, what's it called? Earth Elemental. Blocking entire damage, and instead the Elemental takes the damage. That seems pretty busted, I must say. But again, remember, has really low hit points at a lower level, so listen. Things probably die real quick early on. Again, I try to balance it out as you level up. That's what I tried to do. Okay, with all that said though, I'm pretty done here. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you've looked at this, you've read this, and it all kind of makes sense. If it doesn't, listen, you can ask me in the comments section below. Otherwise though, hope you guys enjoyed. Love you guys, and would like to say that you guys matter. Just as Kit Bocus says, just as all those other people say. The dude that plays VR a whole lot pauses his dang video just to say, listen, you matter. You do. And I really hope in these trying times that you can make it through it. And I'll also stop this voice now, because I bet that's pretty painful for you. So I'll stop that, and I'll say that, yep, I love you guys, and well, I'll see ya.
An instrument everybody loves.